When I came out as a lesbian in 1994, I decided I was going to live an authentic life. I then met my wife Susan, and we moved up here to the mountains together. I love where I live because this is our retirement home. This is where we wanted to be, so we didn't want to wait. We wanted to do it early. Living on a farm, it grounds me. I'm not the average financial advisor. I have always lived my life according to how I wanted to do it. And I expect clients to do the same. I can't be that person that says, yes, live fully if I'm not. The name of our firm is Family Wealth Management Group. My clients are like friends to me. They're part of the family. They're part of what sustained me as a person. Through that financial planning process, then they often stay with us for years because they know that we will take care of them. And my team is the same thing. My team works with everybody. We're very close-knit, and I have a great team. I have a team of women who are working with me who are different generations. And then I've got women in their 50s and their 40s and their 30s. We work with a lot of different kinds of clients. We work with people we like. It's not the amount of money they have. It's really, are they the type of person that wants to live their life's dreams? Are they the type of person who wants to take advice? And we sit down and do comprehensive planning with them and then help them understand how to reach their goals, how to live their dreams. Dream big. A lot of people forget how to dream, and so we want them to dream big and let us help them achieve that. Maybe that's retiring early, buying an RV, seeing the country. Maybe that's starting your own business and doing something that you love with passion. People say, why do you own llamas? And I said, because I always wanted to own llamas. So we've had llamas since 1998. They are just really a special animal to me. I think being the kind of person I am helps me in my work because I am able to empower others to do the same. You know, authenticity takes courage, and to be able to run after your dreams, we're not always taught that as kids. We're taught to be cautious and patient and wait. And I teach them the opposite. I say, go get it. You know, you can create the life you want. Don't wait for the life to come to you. When I see my clients finally reach their goals, be able to stretch out and live that dream they wanted, that gives me such joy. It is something that I feel like that's my job. We live every day, and we have to do what we want to do, or life takes over. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. That's how llamas say hi, as their ears are up. If their ears are back, you better step back because they will spit at you. Only if you spit at them first. But I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for staying one more day with us and enjoying this conference. This has been great for me. I am that lesbian financial planner. You know, I am that one that says that out loud, puts it out there, and just continues to do it because that's who I am. That's who I am as a person. So rather than ducking behind the scenes or making you more comfortable or things like that, I'm that confrontive advocate that's out here just talking and saying who I am. Some of you will need to leave the room because of that, and I'm used to that, so that's okay. And some of you are curious because everyone knows someone who's lesbian, bisexual, transgender, gay, or just saying they're queer. Everyone knows someone. And most of us have someone in our family who's in my community because we're one of the most diverse communities in this country and the world. So I decided when I came out several years ago, I actually came out when I was about 30. But I came out and to live this authentic life at about 34. At the same time, I was creating my business and into this industry. And at that time, it was very quiet. You know, we weren't talking about a lot of those things. So I thought, how am I going to fit in this world? How am I going to be here? So I started just working with people like me, working with people who were in transition, either divorced or widowed, mostly women, because they needed the information that I did, because I didn't have my retirement plan back then. I was 34, wanting to leave a marriage. It was a wonderful marriage, great guy, but I didn't want to take away all of his earnings or income and things like that, so I had to start over. So I started wanting to work with people like me. I said, you know what, I might not know everything, but I do know there's some things I've got to learn about retirement, estate planning, and things like that. So I started building on that. I've always been an innovator. I've always done things ahead of time and created my life. I didn't just wait for something to happen or come get me. So I decided I wanted to also be a CFP. I have not gone to college. I don't sit well in a box. So I realized that I was going to have to build out a process. I was going to have to build out a clientele that would stay with me long term. And financial planning really meant a lot to me. So as I've developed my process, and I do have a written process because I'm kind of ADHD and I've got to make sure that I'm doing the steps I need to do. My introductory appointment, before you even meet me, you see this video. So you either like me or you don't, and either one's okay, because if you don't, we won't have a meeting. If you do, then we have an introductory meeting. And that introductory meeting is just about who are you and who am I? And we share stories. And so I put these things together, whether I'm in local situation or on social media. I came into social media and started building out a national brand about 10 years ago because I didn't hear my voice. I didn't hear another lesbian on stage. I didn't hear the words that I wanted to hear. And I wanted to make sure I had space for people like me. So now I work with people all over the country because of social media and because of being online. We tell them to Google me. I took PR training to make sure that I could tell my story and what parts of my story I really wanted to showcase. So when I tell people to Google me, they'll find articles I've written. They'll find podcasts I've been on. And I purposely went to certain organizations and news media outlets and said, I want to talk about this. And sometimes they're like, well, we want you to talk about fixed income or investments and things. I said, I'm not a quant. I don't talk about that. I talk about relationships. And if you have an article about LGBT or you have an article about women-owned businesses, that's what I want to talk about. And they're like, oh, okay, so the reporters will call me back. So I intentionally have been working on marketing and building my brand just to make sure that I'm working with people I like, that my day is filled with people that like me. And I can give them advice and they actually take it, rather than trying to be something I'm not. And so if you get nothing else out of my discussion today or my talk with you, be who you are. And 100% who you are. You know, I don't like to work nights and weekends because I'm a gardener. And my clients know that. They know July is when we start canning, and we're doing a lot of produce, and I'm pulling herbs out to dry them. And they often get them as gifts. But they like that about me. When I'm building out my brand, I also have personal brand just on Facebook, not attached to business. And a lot of my clients are on Facebook with me because they want to see what I'm doing. They're interested in gardening. They may not be gardeners themselves, but they're interested in it. And for me to help them understand how I've adapted my dreams and my goals and what I wanted to do in life, they see a piece of me too. Sometimes they get upset because my political posts are not theirs. So we talk about it. I've got people from all over, from very liberal to very conservative, because I will talk about it It's part of who I am. If you're uncomfortable, stop following me, or don't friend me, or don't be a client, because otherwise I don't know how to work with you as a person. So I'm up here just to say to those of you who need an advocate in the community and want to know where we are, we do have a Rainbow Network. We're a little quiet, but we are here in the financial services. We are able to work with you as clients if you're LGBT, and we really want to be a part of your dreams. So go out and create your own, be who you are, and don't be afraid.
Well, hello everybody, welcome. So I have to tell you, I ate a bag of Hershey Kisses. Probably not the opening line you would expect to hear at Jolt, but it was also not exactly what I would expect to hear from someone in full Star Wars gear. But that's exactly what a Disney cast member said to me while I was waiting online to board Rise of the Resistance. I was flabbergasted. I stared. No idea what she was talking about. I looked back at my family, and my son looks at me and says, "Hey, dumbass, look at your shirt. She's answering your question." I looked down, and right there it said, in big bold letters, "What did you do today that brought you joy?" Right there, amid lightsabers, stormtroopers, that question took her out of character. She paused in a land built for joy to reflect on her own joy. And in that moment, it hit me. The question is not just a tagline. It's a reflection, a mirror. It doesn't just belong on a t-shirt. It belongs at the center of our work. Let me take you back to where it all began. A few years ago, I told Midland Financial's director of marketing, also known as my wife Denise, that I wanted to start a podcast. And if you're married, she gave me that look, the one you all know about if you've been married for a while. And then she said to me, "Larry, if you're going to have a podcast, you need a question, something that you can use at the end of every episode where people will remember." And I looked at her and I laughed and I said, "Okay, then come up with one." And the next day she walked into my office and she said, "I got the question. You're going to ask people, what did you do today that brought you joy?" And as a man who's been married for over 20 years and wants to remain, and works with his wife and wants to remain happily so, I said, "Hey, sounds great." But little did I know that that question would transform our brand, deepen our relationships, and earn me the nickname, the Joy Guy. Since then, I've asked more than 250 guests on our podcast, what did you do today that brought you joy and put you in the right mindset for success? At first, it was just a way to end each episode, but then something really magical happened. Guests didn't just answer. They literally shared moments of meaning, humanity. And the question didn't just close the conversation, it became the heart of it. And then came the t-shirts. Not just this one, but Denise had them made in every color you could imagine. You probably have seen me wear them all week since we've been here. And let's be honest, because like today, Denise dresses me. And if you're on social, you know that that's 100% fact. Wearing that question across my chest became a catalyst. People stopped me at airports, at conferences, and yes, at Disney World. The connection this question sparked, it became impossible to ignore. So we leaned in. We embedded joy in everything that we did, in team meetings, in onboarding, in branding. Joy wasn't the message, it was the method. And joy eventually became the focal point of our discovery meetings. And instead of saying at first meetings, how much do you need to retire? We asked, what did you do today that brought you joy? And leading with joy shifted the focus from the money itself to what the money enables. Instead of starting with bank statements, we flipped the script. We simply invited people to show up as they are, no prep, no pressure, just themselves. And instead of talking about asset allocation, we asked them, what brings them joy? Think about that for a moment. When was the last time you sat down with a client and didn't lead with numbers? Now imagine starting that conversation by asking them about what their life's greatest joys are, their most meaningful moments. It's not just a shift in approach, it's a shift in connection. Allocating your focus to crafting a life that brings your clients joy, their personal, unique joy, that's focus. It deepens trust, brings emotion into the planning process, connects generations of families, and really, it won't just set you apart. It will redefine what financial planning can feel like. Your practice will evolve. Like us at Midland, families will tag you on social media when they're sharing their joy. We've literally gotten texts from families on hikes, got a text message, enjoying my joy today, posting that on Facebook. They'll tell you they've never felt so heard. This movement will become so strong you'll find yourself serving second and third generations of families. That's what we all want. As advisors, though, we tend to have gotten trained to talk about numbers, rates of return, investment strategies with fancy charts and graphs, retirement goals that are decades away, and sure, those things matter. But here's our greatest realization. What truly excites people are the moments that fill their lives with joy. Sipping coffee on their beach house deck, the pride that radiates as they step through the doors of a community center that they help bring to life, or the pure joy of sending their daughter to medical school debt-free. These are the moments that inspire, but you will only know what these moments are if you ask. As an advisor, these are the moments you have the privilege to help make real. Now, here's what I've learned. When people feel seen and understood, they open up. They tell you what truly matters. These conversations build trust and deepen relationships faster than any chart ever could. Planning for retirement, it isn't about hitting a number. It's about funding dreams. And by anchoring those dreams in joy, the plan becomes real, tangible, and inspiring. Joy is universal. It transcends age and circumstance, and moments of joy, though unique, they speak the same language. They remind us all of what truly matters. You'll feel it, as we do at Midland. Leading with joy isn't just a tagline on a shirt or just a final question on a podcast. It transforms a once transactional experience into a joy-centered journey, and we have the power to do that. And the result, those you serve will feel understood, they'll feel empowered, and most importantly, they'll feel relief. Suddenly, financial planning won't just be another task on their to-do list. It will be a journey towards the life that they want. This deeper connection builds a community of like-minded families, but it's more about growth. It's about creating a space where people feel seen and supported as they plan their journey around joy. And leading with joy, it's not just for the families you serve, it's for you too. When you center your work around joy, it transforms you, us. It reminds you why you chose this profession: to help people, to make a difference, to bring meaning to their lives and your own. In a world that can feel transactional and disconnected, Joy brings humanity back into what we all do. It's not just good for business, it's good for the soul. So I'll leave you with the question that started it all. What did you do today that brought you joy? Take a moment. Reflect on it. Because when you connect your own joy, you're better equipped to help others find theirs. And let's bring joy to the money journey, and together we can all change lives. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Darling. I am a financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst out of St. Louis, Missouri. This business is so deeply personal to me. I was inspired by my grandfather, who was a financial advisor. So when you're in kindergarten and it's career day and you get asked what you want to be when you grow up, I wanted to be a financial advisor. Today, I am proudly saying I am truly living my childhood dream. I was originally born in China in the 90s, and during the one-child policy, at about 8 days old, I was abandoned on the street, lived in an orphanage for the first 6 months of my life, and a single woman from Missouri wanted a baby, flew to China, adopted me, and my grandpa was waiting for me at the airport, along with many of the clients that I work with today. They were at the gate welcoming me when I arrived in the US. My grandpa always had this vision of seeing me take over his practice, and I'm fortunate to say in 2018, we made that a reality. So he started his business in the 1970s. He started with a phone book and said he opened it in the middle and started cold calling. Because everyone else was starting at A, he decided to start towards the middle back, and he built his practice with a phone book and seminars. So I interned at a firm in college, and I was asked to door knock. I was door knocking, and I thought about it, and I said, as a young woman in college, why would I ever answer a door for a stranger? So when people weren't answering their doors, I truly didn't feel bad for them, because I would never open a door to a stranger knocking on the door. So I realized today with social media, we're using that as basically digital door knocking. LinkedIn and Instagram are essentially digital door knocking. My grandpa was such a dinosaur. He used the internet, but he had every form, filled out with paper, never used DocuSign. So when I stepped into his role, I had no idea financial advisors had websites. I had no idea financial advisors used LinkedIn. Today, I'm proud to share that most of the clients that work with me, they come to me virtually, and I've never met them in real life. And those referrals are expanding, so I'm truly serving people in such a digital capacity. What I like to call digital door knocking through LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube today, I think is the next wave of how advisors are going to build their businesses. And if you're not doing it, you may get left behind. We're living in a time where AI, it's just a great time to be an advisor, right? With AI to be used as a thought partner. I don't think it will ever replace what we do, and I don't know if robo-advisors can replace what we do, because we have EQ. AI and robo-advisors are a really cold hand to hold, and that's where we as advisors can really highlight our value. You guys are already doing the hard part. You're working with clients, you're helping people with financial planning and your investments, and that's so key. So now let's elevate that and bring it to social media. Most of my friends are influencers, and they are earning more than professional athletes are. They are making bank, doing their specialty, and we'll be out, they'll ask me to shoot content for them, and then they'd say, Danielle, let me get something for you. I said, oh, no, I'm just a financial advisor, I'm not an influencer. Talk about friends supporting friends. They encouraged me to step up to the plate and use social media, and it's working. So I mentioned EQ. Who's heard of DQ? We all know what EQ is, emotional intelligence. We all know that that is so necessary for this field. Now, let's think about DQ, our digital intelligence. I'm going to tell you exactly how to have a high level of DQ. First, be authentic. You do not need stock photos. You do not need a fancy backdrop or the most high-tech camera. You really just need your phone. Start filming wherever you're at. People want to see your face, and to take it further, they want to hear your voice. Some of the best influencers in the game, they're doing makeup tutorials in the car. How relatable is that? Just find yourself in your car or walking on the street, get out your phone and record a video, and that's going to come off as authentic because the people who are watching it are also sitting in their cars and also walking on the street. Not everyone's in a studio. Next, make your post personal. Some of the most impactful and the most thought-provoking posts are the ones that come when people share a failure or a vulnerable moment. So don't be afraid to be authentic because that can pay you dividends. Next, speak to your ideal client. We've talked today about knowing who your audience is, and again, what a great time to live in a world where we have AI because you can put in really good inputs. Let AI know who you are, what tone you want, who your audience is, what kind of impact you want to make, how you want your audience to feel after they read that post, and use AI to help you build that post. It's going to save you time, boost productivity, and create a higher impact. Truly, everybody wins. Next, share what makes you unique. Think about your values, your culture, your hobbies. I went back in and looked at what my top performing posts were last year. It was playing pickleball at City Pickle in Central Park, popping into Tiffany in Wall Street after I got to go to the opening bell and inside the stock exchange. I made a post about that. I did a post on my shoes and what they meant to me. I should do a post on these Tacovas and what they mean to me too, because it's a whole experience and it builds community. And finally, another post was about my experience at the Mets game. I mean, think about how many people watch baseball and that post resonates with them. How many people are playing pickleball? I mean, use that to your advantage. It's going to build community. And all of those posts that I just shared with you, none of them were stock photos. None of them was a chart or graph about the market. It was me and my life and my authentic self. Each one of you here has something that makes you unique. So I encourage you to think about that and create a post. If you're too busy, just time batch. We're traveling today, take some time, create a slew of posts to have locked and loaded, ready to go. Use an automatic scheduling tool that can pre-plan your content and put it out at the right times for you. In your stats, you just did your 3 months worth of content in 1 hour. And finally, I'll leave you with this. We talk about posting and the content you create. Let's talk about the commenting. How many of us are commenting on posts? Okay, how many of us are commenting on strangers' posts? Okay, good. So commenting on people's posts that you know is phenomenal, but it kind of keeps you in this box. So I encourage you to comment on strangers' posts, make them thoughtful, empowering. Be kind. We don't like negative comments, right? So just find a stranger's post and comment, and that's how you really do LinkedIn right. So I want to encourage you that when you use social media, it can be scary. If you're not using it, set yourself a goal to post consistently. And if you're already doing social media, if you're already commenting on strangers' posts, challenge yourself. How can I take my social media game a step further, and what else can I do to sharpen my skills and show up more online? And I encourage you to think about, the platform that we have. We used to start this business, we used to start getting clients by door knocking and using the phone book, and today with AI and the digital world, we can be more equipped than ever. Thank you.